chain gang song. Never saw the action. Oh, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up.
Hi, welcome to the Goblins of Discord. I'm Larissa, and today I'm joined by Rob of AttitudinalPsyche. Do you want to introduce yourself, Rob?
Hi, I'm Rob. I run the AP group. I do lots of typology stuff. You probably see me like talking about it somewhere if you know who I am.
Yeah, you can also get typed by Rob. You can get typed in two systems with Rob. Um,
Yeah, I do expanded instincts, which is like a new version of the old shitty instincts. No offense. But
which we'll be using.
um,
We'll be using the old shitty instincts on this.
yes, we'll be doing those today. I still love them. You can use them with my new system too. It's not like you stop having your old type. So yeah, I do like a new version of them, which is 9 types and 3 new centers. It introduces the purpose center, which is totally different than anything that the classic instincts do. So yeah, you can get typed in that, or you can come get your AP type. I've been doing this for a few years now. It's super fun, and yeah,
Maybe we get a little taste tonight. We get a little
yeah.
instinctual cookie. Oh God, why am I saying these things? We're
Oh my
taping
God.
Grace Jones, who okay, so yeah, I wanted to type her for a little while because I know that she's probably one of the weird types,
Hmm.
or like a weird combo. I feel like I don't know what a sexual 8-wing 752 looks like, but I feel like if I close my eyes, this is what I conjure because she kind of looks like an HR Geiger glamazon or something, but I don't know if she's actually this type. So we're largely unprepared for this call.
I mean, it's super masculine. It has to be in the 8-7 area for ego. I mean, look at she's just showing her insane statuesque masculinity. It's like, yeah, this isn't something I would see from like like a core, I don't know, 2 or something like that, or 9. This is super on the outskirts of the attachment types. It's super hexady.
Yeah. Yeah, and she does have like that rejection influence with her kind of like clean lines, black outfits. Just sort of like a common theme I've noticed with like 8 influence or 5 influence. Probably not.
Yeah, there's something unreachable too about her, like high up. I don't know, that's just what I'm getting.
She did speak about actually like a lot of women hit on her because of her masculine energy. She was
Mm.
like, I walk into like a
Hmm.
bar with a bunch of good looking models and like males, and the women all flock to me. Although maybe she was doing like an assertive type brag, so but I could see it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That does sound kind of image typey. Like, look at me, look at my draw that I have towards others, which is can be sexual too.
Yeah, she looks like she could crack your face with her thumbs.
Yeah, but smoothly. Like she's gonna it's almost like it's a I don't know, like a ruse, you know what I mean? Like once you kind of get closer, it's like, oh, maybe is she gonna like kick my ass, or is she gonna like woo me into her like dungeon, or like what's gonna happen here? It's there's kind of like a question mark for me anyway.
And I forgot she dated this guy, He-Man. Or wait, was he He-Man? Yeah, Adolf Lundgren. Um, I don't know. He's probably like some iteration of 378 or 379. He's kind of got that. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that jaw. Jesus.
And he's pretty big too. Like I think they're both pretty magnificent in presence and stature.
Yeah, the fact, yeah, their skin tone looks really good together too. But look at like how, why would somebody this? It's just such an off the wall match. It's like what type of person would want to go for that? You know what I mean? It's like somebody that enjoys the unknown or something that just looks out of place. It's very, I guess we've been saying it the whole time. It's just very hexad. Like, nope, I'm not going to do anything the normal way or what's accepted of others or anything like that.
Mhm. Yeah, they were a hot couple.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well now we can get to watching a little bit of Grace Jones.
Yeah, let's see this.
Wait, where's the one? Okay, she this is the one where she slaps the guy. Okay, let's open with this thing. Um,
Oh, she slaps him. Yeah, let's see this.
and this weirdly screamed rejection to me because she was like, "Look at me!" Like it was like this weird, like you don't block me out, like sort of reactive.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Are you wearing perfume? Can you smell her at all?
No, I've got my own body odor perfume.
Let's try and keep it on a slightly higher
What?
level.
No.
Are you wearing perfume at the
No,
same
no,
I'm
I very seldom
right
do
this
that.
No, no,
minute. If you turn your back
no,
to me
I-
one
I've got-
more
I
minute,
have
I mean,
got-
really,
I have got
this
to
has
talk
been
to
going
this.
on too long already.
Well, it's not good.
Yeah, just instant like brat energy, but also like take me serious. Like, hello, I'm here. It's definitely it feels sexual to me. It's
yeah.
yeah, it feels sexual energy. It just feels like 8-7 area. That's what I'm getting right away.
Yeah, because even like sexual seven wing sixes can be pretty bratty. Like, look at me. Like, sorry, not trying to put that on you. But she's
No,
like,
yeah.
I feel like that's double assertive core because she's like very much like demanding. You pay attention to me.
Yeah, she's saying more with her body. Like her words are kind of intense, but she's saying more with her body than anything.
It's only going to go on in about another 6 minutes, and you're going to have another little part of it soon.
That's-
but
well, maybe I should go
let
right
me ex-
now
No,
then.
don't go right now unless you really want to.
Well, don't turn your
No,
back on me
I
anymore.
can't look at you. No, hold on, hold on, just a minute, just a
Move your
minute.
chair back a bit or something.
Oh yeah, that's just straight up fighting right away, like instant. Like she's not gonna give it up. She's trying, and I see her trying to like make it not as confrontational as she wants it to be. So there is some like I don't know if she's waiting for him to get back at her so she can get back at him. Like I know eights tend to do that because they want to keep it going back and forth. Like you do something and then I do something more and then it keeps going. So I don't know if that's what she's doing because she kind of holds back a little bit there too, which is interesting.
I know that this might not really work typologically, but I also feel like maybe it's five head as well because like this is just weird. Like there's not really like any kind of like this does not six head at all.
No.
I
Mm-mm.
think if she's like ends up being eight wing seven potentially, like I feel like it might be five head because the way that she interprets some of these situations is just so like not connected to like kind of
Yeah,
the human
there's
grid, if you will. Like
yeah. Yeah. What makes you think that? Or what is it about her energy that makes you see the disconnection?
if you look at her face, even it's like there's something going on here. I almost think it might even I think she might even be five wing four fixed.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think that oh I guess this video's done, but there's something so I'll just I don't know, there's something where it's like she's kind of staring out from this like reptilian cat, like sexual cave of like, I'm here, I gave you my time, and now you're gonna give me your fucking
Hmm.
attention. But I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's a ton of rejection happening for sure. Like, yeah, just turbo. Yeah, cat. That's a good way to say it.
Not in the nine way though.
No, like she can be soft, but this coming from sexual, not nine.
Good point.
Your costume would probably be more.
Like, see, look at her. Like, what
Oh
is
my God, look at those psycho eyes.
this is where I might see five? You know, it's like it's happening.
Yeah.
Lavish than that which you appear to be wearing.
I'm overestimated.
By the world at large or by your public?
By everybody, I think, yes.
How do you think you've received this overestimation? Why is your reputation inflated?
That's just a lyric from a song.
Oh, I do beg your pardon. I thought it was some sort of judgment.
Like this to me is weirdly, I don't know. I don't have a lot of like experience with certain types, obviously, but this weirdly is giving me sexual five. Sort of like she's trying to like I don't know, like trying to pull him in with some fucking like strange hook that like I think goes beyond like maybe like the eight core stuff, eight wing seven.
Yeah, I'm also wondering though, is this some sort of imagey stuff happening as well, where it's, she's really putting on, because she's not always like this. So it's almost like each new person is a new chance to bring out some other weird side of herself, which makes me wonder if like image is second instead of head, but
That's a good point.
Have you calmed yourself down in clothes over the years?
Try me.
I don't know quite. Are you hearing what I say to you?
Mm-hmm.
You have.
Actually, are you hearing what I say to you is a very good rejection influence point, like for her even having more than one rejection center, because
Mhm.
that is what it feels like when I'm talking to a rejection type, because it's like, am I having a conversation like with a human? Like, what is happening here? This is like two
Yeah,
talking.
that's a really great point. And it does feel like too, because she's like, no, I came here to give you this entertaining bit about who I am. You're gonna get sucked into a sexual too, really. You're gonna get sucked into this fucking abyss of my weirdness. And if you're not gonna do that, then I'm not gonna listen to you. So you better just wait. It's very rejection heavy in the image center.
Yeah, she's fucking weird. I love it.
Having fight. Let's start. Let's pretend we haven't started. In the past, and we have some photographs to prove it.
You do?
Oh yes, we do.
Blackmail?
Well, I don't know. Black female. There's one of them. You see.
Blackmail. Interesting.
That's rather kind.
Just the fact that she said blackmail, like who would think of that? That's a rejection type that's gonna think of blackmail.
Good point. And reactive maybe as well, like reactive.
Yeah, just firing off, but it's not really in the seven way. Like I was considering maybe 827, but I'm hearing what you're saying about five as well. I'm thinking she's head last because I'm not getting any material of like what's going on up here in the anxiety realm? Like is anything happening? And so that's why I'm thinking maybe it is just five last.
She could be five last, yeah. You know what? I want to point out too. She does the thing that I think that Kiernan pointed out to me a long time ago.
Hmm.
Often, like five fix, like 5, 8 together, they do this like thing under their brow where they're like, and she does this actually in a lot of photos where she's sort of looking at you like this like piercing. I don't even know what this is. It's kind of like a predator, like a withdrawn predator sort of stance.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Kind of more lavish than what you're wearing now.
Yes, you think so?
Yeah. And we have another one to follow that, which is, well, that's you, of
Oh,
course.
and also just like her hair, even like this kind of looks actually five influence, just her. I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
like,
like Tilda Swinton.
oh yeah, good point.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause it does seem kind of like competency, rejection-y, like five head always have like the bangs up to like here. And
Mm-hmm.
like they're always like not attractive, but weirdly she can pull it off. Like looks good on
Yeah.
her for sure. Suits her because she's kind of got that androgynous thing going on. But most people cannot like do this kind of thing. Like most women cannot pull this shit off.
No. Yeah, the more this goes on, the more it just feels like just 825, really.
Mhm.
8-wing 7.
Yeah. Yeah, she's so singular. It's like I don't recognize this type out in the wild. Like this isn't when you
The
just
only thing I will say that is even slightly attachment is that 2 fix might be with a wing 3 because there is some sort of like connected into the attention of the room, like give it to me. 2 with a 1 wing is more I've got this gift to give you, and that's it. Like there's no where she is kind of feeding off the audience, which she's social last, so that is kind of weird, but she is aware that there is an audience and is adjusting her ego to that. So I would say that's the only chance that she has any attachment is to with a 3 wing.
yeah, that's
And
interesting.
even if she were 7, it would have to be 7 with an 8 wing. It could not be 7-6 or anything like that. So, but I do think it's 5-4.
Yeah. I was entertaining like triple frustration shadow just because of her aesthetics, but I don't actually have any like argument for wing 3 or wing 1 other than just like she just looks like she's got some weird competency rejection frustration thing going on.
Mhm.
purely aesthetic, but yeah, we might see more. Like I'm totally open on her wing.
Yeah.
But she does have a lot of attitude.
That's so weird though and detached. Look at that face. That's like I'm on another planet and
Yeah, this is
but
really when you see the 5 alien thing, because it's like I think a
Mhm.
lot of people are like, I feel like an alien. It's like, well, you don't seem like an alien.
But you don't do it. You don't do alien. Yeah. If you're not doing alien in your ego, that's not 5. Yeah.
With your,
It's still black, isn't it?
with your, no, it isn't. There you are with thumbs and a lot of stuff on the top of your head. What is that on the top of your head?
That's Chloe. Karl Lagerfeld sitting on my.
Did you have a late
I
night
couldn't
last?
say that.
Did you have a late night last
They
week?
had bleepers.
Also, here's like just I don't even know if this will make sense, but 7 and 5 humor. I know she would have both in her type, but 7 and 5 humor, it's like 7's weird humor kind of lands more than 5's weird humor, where 5's humor is more like, what the fuck are they even talking about?
Right, right. And the absurdity of like a 7, like a weird 7, like I don't know, Lady Gaga comes to mind if you agree with that, but she's a weird 7, but there's still like this, ooh, intrigue. Tell me more. But with 5, you're just like, I am really uncomfortable. What the fuck is this person?
Yeah, like uncanny valley, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't they? No.
Where were you last night?
No, I haven't slept in 3 days.
That explains it. That
That
explains it.
explains it.
Do you understand what I'm
Oh.
saying to you?
No, your accent is a bit foreign. Okay.
Now, how shall I go around the back of this? I wonder. Have you been photographed recently?
Just now, no? Right now. On television.
What the hell?
How are you supposed to talk to her?
You can't. You're not getting anything. You're getting whatever she decides to give you in any moment, and that's the whole point of rejection. And also you don't know what side you're going to get. Are you going to get the funny quirky 5 that's weird? Are you going to get the 2 that's like in your face, like telling you do this? Or are you going to get the 8 that's just like trying to control you essentially? Like which side are you going to get? You don't know. That's why it's weird.
Yeah, and trigger you. And I feel like she's trying to trigger this like guy, just probably out of her own boredom. We could watch like one where she's not in that weird space.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see how she handles herself.
I like it's like game recognized game, it's like Joan Rivers is a 7 wing 8, so I feel like they're speaking the kind of same language actually, so she kind of gets more out of Grace Jones than I think that this uptight
Yeah,
British
let's.
teacup is getting.
Shortage of words to describe
What is Joan Rivers wearing? What is this outfit?
That's the self-pres social outfit.
I love Joan Rivers.
my first guest. Bizarre, beautiful, feminine, masculine, everything but conservative. Will you please welcome Miss Grace Jones?
What is she wearing? She looks like a sexual SS officer or something.
Yeah, she looks like she's out of a fucking video game. Like
Yeah, she does like
this is a boss. This is a boss fight. This is like
I think that was a little bit of sexual right there. She's like, yep, my fan.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's sexual 2 wing 3 secondary. It has to be.
Okay, I'm on board.
No, sure. I always forget how long your legs are. It's like 2/3 of your body.
Yeah, I think I'm missing about 2 inches in my waist that went into my legs.
Oh, God. Hey, your son is how old?
He's going to be 10 soon.
And does he have the same build?
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
But even though she's being normal with Joan Rivers, it's like, what is she doing?
She's trying to be normal. This is the curse of hexad types is like, fuck, I have to like try to be normal.
We look just exactly alike. Amazing.
Now, why don't you never married the father?
No.
No, but
I almost want to say that little comment was almost two-ish to me. It's like
Yeah.
you're exactly alike. It's like my little
Yep.
possession, my little
Creepy mom. Yep. Here's my creepy mother.
She kind of is doing like, I kind of like, I made all these goblins just out of my imagination of what like certain like 2-5 combos look like, and they always look like these deranged, smiling, like mannequins. That's how they turn
Yeah.
out. I feel like that's what she looks like.
She looks like she's smiling on purpose because she's like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. This is what the humans do, right? They smile like this.
But you keep up with him.
Oh, yes, we're very good friends.
So why'd you
And
have another
we-
child?
Well, I'm ready to have another
What's
child.
she doing?
I asked him, I said, well, he was with somebody at the time. And I said, do you think you could give me some artificial insemination?
Oh God, that is so fucking two. Do you give me this thing? I need your DNA.
But you're
Like,
right, that is. I had a friend who a two. I remember this actually because it was when I was really getting into the Enneagram. And I was like, "Oh my God, it's two." She was trying to get his sperm, and she tricked him. She tricked him. It was like this whole thing.
I had a sexual social 628 friend who literally was like, send me a fucking turkey baster of your splooge. And I was just like, really? She was serious. Just
Hey.
like, what is this?
Do you think that this means that she's like sexual self-pres over sexual social?
Yeah, because she's playing with self-pres. She's like, putting on the wacky outfit and whatever, and it's all to like enhance the mood that she's in. And it's like anything could happen at any moment. That's how you know it's sexual. Self-pres is kind of like they get lost. Self-pres sexual gets kind of lost in the energy. They're kind of like, yeah, and then they come back to it, and then they'll play around with you with the sexual. But sexual self-pres is just like, what could happen? You don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Self-pres sexual almost seems 9-wing 8 to me on some level too. Like they're sort of just this
Mm,
vibing
yeah.
wall, masturbating
Yeah,
wall.
that's a good comparison. I see that.
No, because
Sperm.
our son
Yeah.
came out so great.
Yeah.
I mean, I have such
Oh,
a
two.
great life.
That's
He's so
two.
inspiring. He's so beautiful. He's
Two.
the perfect mixture of the both of us. And I
But this is my
That
own-
is fucking two. That is so much two. Like he's amazing. Everything's amazing about him. Oh, by the way, I created him, but he's just fucking perfect and beautiful. That's two.
This part also kind of made me think of like 5-8 eugenics kind of stuff too.
Oh yeah, I didn't catch that. I have weird blind spot around that sort of background insinuations, but I've seen other 5/8s talk about that, especially 3/5/8. They get
Yeah,
real
they
weird
want to
about it.
like breed out the breed out the useless eaters.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
they're the ugliest motherfuckers on this planet, anyways.
Right. No social either. No like, oh, you're good how you are, or you bring something to the table. Just like, fuck that.
Uber men.
Yes.
Uber baby.
thought he could have a real sister, or
what
brother.
What did he say?
He said, Grace, why do you have to be so extreme?
It makes sense.
I know. I think it's perfectly normal.
Now, speaking of perfectly normal, I've seen you in many outfits. What do you wear to the PTA? I mean, this,
And also her energy's so big. Like she kind of does that 8-7-7-8 like like
Yeah. Yeah, like evil cackle, but she's just I just get this vibe she's trying so hard, like putting all of her energy into trying to be just like a little bit normal. And I think her only way to be normal is to be a little bit catty and funny about it, but like it doesn't work because she just has so much weirdness about her.
Well, I tell you what, I did some racing for the parents. They get together,
Right.
and at the end of the year, they have a big race, at school. And I came in a Claude Montana, what I thought was a jogging outfit. And my son looked at me and he says, what are you wearing? You're supposed to be in a jogging outfit. I said, this is a jogging outfit.
Also, the faces she does, like she does these weird little like these kind of like weird. I feel like this is some weird 875.
Yes.
Something.
Yes. Yeah, it's like despite her not saying anything that even sounds heady ever, she does the 7 and 5 gesturisms where they just are like off the fucking wall on for 7 it's on purpose, but for 5 it's just literally like they don't even know that they're doing it. But yeah, she does both. That's why she goes back and forth from like playful to alien to playful to alien. It's like you just can't get a good hit of what her actual energy is because it just doesn't stay the same.
Yeah. It doesn't say the same, but it's like consistently inconsistent. So it's sort of like
Yes.
exactly what you said. Sorry, I just reworded
Yeah.
it.
So, I just show up by myself.
Your family that you came from was exactly the
sexual.
opposite of you. I read stories where they were very strict, and
Yes.
they literally hit
And, yeah, and also not attachment too. It's like she's not adjusting anything. She's like,
Yep, I am
did
me.
adjust, but she didn't adjust, and I think that's where the problems come in, right? Because they're like, well, you didn't adjust. It's like, but and like as like a hexa type, it's like I made an effort,
Mhm. Mhm.
but they're like, you didn't really make an effort. It's like I made the best effort I could for the type of person that I am.
Yes, yeah. I think that's where the 3-wing comes in as well. That's like the only place where she's even trying.
you with chains and I heard chains and whips and chairs.
I used to have my lips pulled. That's why they're so big.
They pulled your lips?
Yeah. I always had to have the last word.
Oh, yeah, I wonder when. Yeah,
I was always talking back, because I was so skinny I couldn't hit back. So I used my mouth.
But now you hit back.
Gut. That's gut energy. She's showing us that she pays attention to people's strength levels and who has more force. That's 8-wing 7, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Now I hit back.
I've heard stories always punching somebody out. Am I right?
Now I hit back.
Yeah. She's not trying to be entertaining like compared to Joan. Joan is like trying so hard to be fucking entertaining like a 7, but Grace is just like, nah.
Yeah, she's just entertaining by virtue of her being so bizarre and amazing.
Yes.
I misbehave.
Yeah. What happened with you had a fight with your boyfriend on an airplane?
No, that was with the pilot. I was with the pilot.
You had a fight with the pilot?
Yes.
But I hope they were.
Yeah, and she's kind of doing like an assertive, like sexual
Yeah.
or something. It's like, yeah, I took down the pilot.
Yep.
Yeah, some like domination. Even if she didn't like fuck him, she fucked him.
Yeah. And she's like, and now people are asking me about it on national TV, and I'm gonna repeat the story.
Yeah, and I think like with the wing 7, she's got to have probably like a pocket full of stories. So
Oh yeah.
where she's some like interesting person.
Yeah.
on automatic at the time. I mean, it's
I
like,
know. I know. Well, this was before the plane took off, actually.
What happened?
Well, it was crazy. We were going with our master tapes onto the airlines, and they wanted us to check the tapes. And I thought the tapes were too valuable to check them because luggage always gets lost. They could have a flood. A bomb could go off. I mean, at least if I survive, I'll have the tapes with me. So I think
This to me is like the epitome of rejection too, because this took me a really long time to understand, but I've understood, like, I've actually been writing about it, but rejection is possession. It's like mine. Like, it's like that kind of thing. And like, she's like, this is her art. And so I feel like if she's rejection in every center, it's like her baby, you know what I mean? And it's like, this is a part of myself that I was like, where is this coming from? Mine. Like this constant thing. But I have started to notice this pattern with people with rejection influence. You have it a bit, this 8 chick that I've been hanging out with has it, where she kept calling, "You're mine," and I was like, "Holy fuck,
Mm,
it's coming from 8. This is where it's coming from," and it's coming from,
mhm.
I think, 5 and 2 for her, because it's like this is
Information.
my thing. It's like the Schmiegel aspect of
Hmm.
rejection that I think comes out. And I for sure feel it in myself. Like it took me forever because I was like trying to locate it enneagrammatically, and I was like, where the fuck is this aspect of my personality that's so loud to me? I also wonder if it has to do with like not being SP last, but might be part of it too, but I'm not
It's
sure.
in there too. It's kind of both. That's why I was wondering for a second. I'm like, is this self-pres dominance? But it makes sense if she's thinking like, why does she want those tapes? And that's kind of the like, is she it could be something that's more ego related. If it's not, if it's fear that's pushing that, then it's ego. You know, self-pres is more just like, oh, my happiness is in here, not like I have to have these because fear. Where it seems like for her, it's coming from fear. So I think it is just 8. That is what I was thinking about. I'm like, is she self-pres sexual? But no, I don't think so.
Sexual self-pressure. She's too like alive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
She's too wavy too. She's like a fucking like, despite not having any 9, she has like a misty quality where it's like she could be anywhere at any moment, and that's weird for an 8. You'd have to be sexual self-pres.
Oh, I like that. I think it comes out in her music too, because she does have a kind of, I don't think she has any 9 influence, but there's a sort of 9 quality sometimes to,
Mhm.
yeah, she's like playing with people's energy and like this whole,
Mm.
she talks about it in one interview, which we may not get to, but where she likes to be in this flow. And I was like wondering if that was maybe a sexual thing versus
Mm.
her actual type, but.
Figure I'll take him with me. And he didn't want me to take him. So, you know, he just said, well, leave, get off the plane. So I got off and I laid on the runway.
You what?
Yeah, that's an 8 move.
Yeah, I will have my way.
That's an 8 move, and to put your body literally between an object, and that's not 7s are doing it. 7s are fucking you with your mind. They're not. But that's super 8, 8 wing 7.
Who finally won?
Well, I think we ended up having a private plane being
That's so
sent for us.
chic. Isn't it
Yes.
fun? The record
yes.
business is a mad thing.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
consider it?
great.
What do you consider yourself? An actress, a singer? When you think of yourself?
You know, I consider myself an artist, an entertainer, total. You know?
And a femme fatale. I mean,
oh,
my dear. Oh, what about Rob Lowe? Friends or lovers?
No, friends, really. I mean, I heard about it that I was mentioned.
You were
in
in
the
Rolling
tape.
Stone.
Rob Lowe,
That's an interesting mix.
it's hot, or he was hot.
I know, that's what I heard.
What
I
did he
said,
say?
well.
Your next, Grace? I wouldn't have said
Her laugh is so crazy. I do feel like this is speaking to the 2 influence or something. Like I don't really know. Like this is not 3.
Yeah, she gets like randomly bashful and a little weird about it. Like, uh-oh, somebody else is suggesting that I do something, that might affect the image, you know?
Yeah, because she would be like a gut core with just head and heart, like with no other gut influence, and that kind of I think would make her almost like a more unhinged like
Hmm.
and she's very smiley too. So
Yeah, she's there. Yeah, the more this goes on, the more I can see kind of her vulnerabilities, which is always fun to see with a sexual 8, where you kind of can see, oh, there they're being vulnerable. There they're kind of letting loose, or there's something that they're afraid of that they're kind of showing you that they're afraid of it. And you can kind of see that as this interview goes on.
I think the girl, somebody, who he was with, if that was really him. I mean, I don't even know.
Oh, come on. We go,
I mean, I've got a lot of lookalikes. Come on. I mean, I have a lot of clones.
Yeah, that was
I
Rob
do.
Lowe.
and I also think that this might have like 7-8 influence right here. It's like people just like bite me all the time because I have noticed like people who often get into feuds about people biting their shit. Like celebrities often have 7, 8, and or like 4 somewhere. Like there's usually some kind of
Yep.
She's not being like crazy about it, but it's just like I've got all these clones.
Yes.
It's not like the attachment thing of like, oh, I'm just like one of the people. There are a lot of people like me. It's like my clones.
And I also think there's something too happening as well where she's trying to like protect Rob Lowe in a way or kind of be like put in some doubt that like, well, maybe it wasn't him and like kind of showing her allegiance to him, which eights do that in a public setting.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've heard people say, hey, Grace, do you remember it was great last night? And I go, but I don't know you.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was a clone they were sleeping with, So,
Some woman impersonating you.
yeah, or man.
Or man. Yeah.
Oh my God.
The fact that she finds that funny, I feel like also points her like 7 and 5.
Yeah, that's just anything can be funny, YOLO type of shit.
Because this was a long time ago. This wasn't when that was like.
Right. This is a big deal. When was this? Like late 80s or something?
Oh, it was when Joni was still alive, so it was a while ago.
It looks like it's in the late 80s.
You're very androgynous in a way.
Yeah, I collect, uniforms.
Yeah.
Hats. I love uniforms and men's clothing, and my hair is always cropped short. I have a hobby. This hat I got from a Swiss police at the border, and the Swiss are very, very strict.
This
and I have
is
it to a game where
this is I was just gonna say this is where you can see self-pres in the like playful area. She's talking about what she likes to do, what she enjoys, what fulfills her. That's where you see the instinct more, and she's playing around with self-pres. You can tell here she doesn't take it super fucking seriously, like self-pres sexuals. It's almost like you can't even shake them out of it because they're so obsessed with whatever they're getting from objects and stuff and clothes and all the self-pres stuff. Where she's just like, yeah, I love it to do this and that and wear this and get this object from this person. It's like that's playing around with self-pres.
I also think it might be like a little tiny trophy of her sexual conquest in some way. It's like she didn't fuck
Yeah.
them. She
Yeah.
loved them enough that now she has this little artifact to like show her how much of a like sexual age she is. It's like I'm a conquistador. I conquested this like.
That's a great point. Yes. Yeah, I like that.
And I also wonder too if maybe there's like the 5 or 2 influence about like it's a special object, like there's some sort of meaning behind it too.
Yeah, memento. I actually have a
Hearing it like
yeah. I have
almost like a head on a spike or something. It's like
oh yeah. That's interesting. Oh, I was just gonna say in my expanded instincts, I talk about this a little bit. Like when people keep mementos, I call it a memorializing type. It's one of those, but in classic instincts, I would just say self-pres middle. But it's interesting that you bring that piece into it about rejection, because I do think all the rejection types can have in their separate center, they do take pieces of things, whatever it might be. Like for 2, it's they always have a story about how they did something for someone they loved, or they had a special moment or a special person. That's my person. And then with 5, it's I'm the one that went on there and wrote that fucking Wikipedia entry in 2004, and that's my it's their memento, and they'll show you it. That's why they're so fucking weird. And then 8's just doing it with the physical reality. I have this thing, and it means this thing to me.
what do you think her AP like instincts are?
Oh, I haven't thought about it much, but she seems to be very self-possessed, volition first, like confident in her self and who she believes she is. Very 1V. Probably a 2E because she seems emotionally open, kind of just blapping about whatever emotion. She's okay with other people's emotions. She kind of plays around with it. And then I'm not sure what her 3rd and 4th. She's either VELF or VEFL. I'd have to think more about it.
Your instincts sort of like pull in more complexities, I think, than like just the regular instincts where you're sort of like hatchet jobbing them together, kind of.
Yeah, because there's 9, and then I stack them to make 27, well, really 162 different stacking. So it's really, it gets specific. Like, what is this person actually tracking in that realm?
God, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's fun.
And like you've been working on it for years, right? Like that's your baby.
Mhm.
Just for anybody who wants to know, it's Rob's baby.
Yeah, fuck off, K-Faver. Leave it in.
Gladly, darling.
Try to talk all the policemen out of their hats and their handcuffs and whatever I can get.
I would never do anything like that, but I think that this is also like somewhat of an assertive, just like 7-8 space kind of thing. I used to get,
Mhm.
I've almost been arrested so many fucking times, and I used to think it
Same.
was funny, and like I'd be like, hey,
Yeah.
like rude to like in my early 20s, like rude to police all the time. Like I'm surprised I didn't. It was crazy, like, but I never
Yeah, I
collected
go
the
into
trinket. That's to me seems 8 core. It's like again, like yeah, it's like she wanted proof of this like conquering that she did. Like,
yeah, and she knows how far she can push it too. And she's also not afraid of what might happen. That's sexual.
oh yeah, like they might have like roughed her up or something. She might-
Yeah. She's like, ooh, what could happen here? There's always, I think there's always like a vision though with sexual. There's always like an ideal vision, but it's like the journey to get to that vision is kind of what energizes you because you don't, it's so chemical, you know? It's just like anything could pop off on the way to that vision. Not to say all sexuals have a vision because some of them are fucking vapid as hell. So
she's gonna crazy. She's gone crazy. It's like I love her style. I'm getting a little tipsy.
she's like, you know what? I'm gonna look like a damn palm tree. That's my, or like a troll, like troll energy.
Oh my god, it is troll. Holy shit.
That's 8-7 space, fucking troll.
And like shining cheetah print, leopard print is like so 7 plus.
Sexual. Yeah, it's sexual too.
Like find me a 7 who doesn't own or hasn't owned something with like leopard cheetah shit.
Yep.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Underdressed as ever.
I said, Mr. T, eat your heart out. You
Yes,
know?
Gabby, how would you describe it for
Slap
people
in it.
listening to us on radio?
I think
Yeah,
it's
that's good.
on stage crawling and going, meow, meow, meow. I think they would get an idea. I'd say I'm on all fours,
Right.
you know, and this is the sound. It's a bit sleek, cat-like.
I like that, except for when she looked down for a second, she's keeping eye contact with him too, where
Mhm.
she's like on all fours.
Yeah.
Like,
She's doing like the sexual 2 fixed thing of like, I'm gonna draw out the exact sexual position and it's gonna be in your mind and I've created it for you. So now imagine that. It's like super. People don't think 2s are like this, but they can be like just fucking off the rail in your face controlling like this, even your mind, especially if it's sexual.
I got like that energy tentacle that's just like, ah.
Yeah.
Right. Very much the story of
Oh,
your
she
life.
just licked her
actually.
lips.
You're touring the country at the moment on your tour. When did you?
And also, this is hilarious because she keeps flirting with these just repulsive potato sack men. And I'm
Yep.
like, obviously, she can do a million times better than these. So I almost feel like she's just doing her instincts. It's like she can't even function outside of it. It's like, God, like, no one would flirt with these people that are sexual.
Yep. Yeah, and sexual self-pres, no social, so she doesn't know where to stop or like what social is worth it and what isn't. Like she doesn't have a barometer for that. I don't even think she cares. She's just like, oh, nasty reptile man in front of me who's old and wrinkly. Guess what? You're gonna fucking want me too, bitch.
He's gonna like wake up screaming with like the biggest erection the next night. Like,
Yes. Exactly.
oh, her face is like haunting. Ah! I guess that might be like a sexual aid attraction strategy too, where it's like I'm gonna scare you into arousal. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like somebody put you in a, I don't know why I'm thinking of this. You remember where they used to like test the atomic bombs out in the middle of like the desert? It's like the sexual aid puts you out there in the desert and they're just like, I might drop the bomb, I might not. You have to be in that state, you know? They want to just keep you in that guessing state where like power could destroy you or it might not.
Decide to be this exotic figure, Grace Jones, this androgynous, macho, attractive? When did you decide to be larger than life?
When did I decide to be myself, really?
Yes.
I think that's what
Is
it comes
this
down.
Said.
Yeah, and I feel like this is often the attachment perspective towards like X said when it's like, oh, you're like putting on a fake like thing, right? Like how did you
No.
get that up? Or it's like, where do you get your ideas from? It's like I hate that question in interviews. It's like there's no place you're gonna get an idea from. Like there's no
Yeah.
place outside of yourself. There's no well that you can go put a bucket in and turn it around. It's like
Right, right. That's yeah, it's so strange. And then it's always the same answer from X that it's just like, I'm just doing me, dude. Like I don't I don't know.
Yes, my family was very religious, a very strict Jamaican family, you know, with a very English colonial type of upbringing in school and all of that. And I realized after I left home that I was
can
not.
you even imagine her as a kid with this type, like in that setting?
No,
I
but I think there is I think this try fix it's easy for them to turn one of the other fixes on when it's needed because they're also on the same track of rejection, and rejection goes so deep in your ego psyche. So it's like I think they hide in plain sight before they do all this, you know, crazy shit. Like once rejection gets a hold of something and they know they can do it, then they will go ham. But a lot of them, I think, hide in plain sight, and people would be shocked to know that there's these 258s out there.
But yeah, her documentary was had a lot of like her performances and then her family time,
Mm,
a lot of her relationships. So I do think that that did like also kind of grab me as Tui.
yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, there's a surprising amount of two in this.
Myself. That was not me. I was living their life, what they wanted. And I wanted to discover first about life and then decide what I wanted from life, what made me happy, what was easy for me.
And so when you said that, were you
Yeah, and I think like a lot of like you could extrapolate from that and be like, that's the attachment problem, but it's not because it's like she discovered that like at like probably 7.
Yeah, and not only that, but we don't see what was actually happening and how much she actually wasn't conforming and attaching. She probably just felt like she was trying her hardest and it just didn't work out. So she's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to do it then.
Yeah. And I think probably with Wing 7, like just 8 Wing 7s, like she would probably be very keenly aware of like the box and the trap and everything that was around her, like the closing walls and wanting to break free of that as quickly as possible.
you just reacting, as you said, you had a strict childhood, spare the rod, spoil the child, etc., etc., all that, and at the same time they were religious. Is the whole rest of your life, do you think, just been a rebellion against your childhood?
No, it's funny because I use a lot of the things I learned in my childhood, I actually use on stage. I mean, a lot of the androgyny, for example. It's funny because I thought I hated my step grandfather, you know, and it's funny because my whole stage act, I am actually doing him. So
That is so weird.
Yeah, this is so social last just has no idea how socially weird what she's saying is.
But I also think she might attribute it to somebody else, but it's just her type.
Yeah, and she also thinks that she's being like like loving, like almost loving to her family member, like, oh, this is what I'm doing for him, like, and I didn't even realize that I was doing it for him. It's very ego-y rejection.
As if I turned it around, and found that I was playing him, his strictness, that icy, that coldness, that if a look could kill kind of thing. And I was playing him. And it's funny that I chose to play him.
Doing an 8. But what she said about the flipping thing was really interesting to me because I do think that is like 7 and 8 influenced together. It's like you can see it with Trump. I've been accused of it, not accused of it, but I've had exes say like, you just flip things around on me. But yeah, I think she thinks she's playing somebody, but she's just doing her time.
Yeah, she's what's that word called where what do sevens do? They like redefine things for positivity. I can't remember what the
Oh,
term is.
Interesting.
Yeah, she's reframing, but she's kind of doing like a two reframe. There's something about this that just screams two. Probably because I've heard so many twos just do the family thing, like reference to how they grew up and raising kids and the motherly versus fatherly thing. Twos just get into that for some reason. I mean, I guess she has 8 and 2, so that makes sense, mother versus father.
Oh yeah, and I guess she would have all like, and she would have lines. She would have
Yes.
Rather than my grandmother, who was so sweet, totally the opposite. And I chose to show that side.
But were you playing him, the strict guy, the strict stepfather, or were you partially reacting
Rebelling?
against him in the sense of trying to be both male and female? Were you trying to make male-female roles different to what most of us understand them as?
Well, I think that I was so frightened of that male domination as a little girl that I
Wow.
set out to be more male than the male.
Oh wow, yeah, that is like so 8, eh?
That's vulnerable too. She's showing us her body language isn't saying it, but her words are saying, what she was actually scared of. And I think she's being honest too.
It's the 8 thing of feeling like small and impotent and like you can't protect yourself and you can't
Hmm.
be powerful and like
Mhm.
overcompensating. And if it was like the men in her life that were those figures, and then she sort of like in some weird way, maybe this is some wing 4 introjection or something, I don't really know, where she's like, and then I became, but like that's literally what 8s do, is they become the thing they're scared of. They become the
Yeah.
monster in their life in order to feel powerful. So
Yeah,
that
I think when you're sexual 8, you you say the 8 thing out loud. You recognize that there's the elephant in the room, which is I'm powerless. Somebody could have power over me. I have like a weak part of me that it can be destroyed if I don't box it up or put a wall up or just like fucking like throw it away. Just act like it's not there. But when you're a sexual 8, it's still there. You are very aware that it's still there. So you're also aware of this fucking like wall that you can put it up and take down and put up and take down. So the sexual 8 is the 8 that's going to tell you the 8 story. They're not just going to act it out. They're also going to say it to you to see like how you handle it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, and she's saying it with a big smile on her face.
Yeah, it's energizing her. The sexual instinct, it gives you the hit of anything. Again, any I'm going to say this vulnerable thing, and what are you going to say back to me? Like, you really don't know, and it could destroy you, and that's the fun. Yeah.
I thought I would be my own father, my own lover, my own, I would be all those.
Rejection. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I would be my own. I wouldn't have to rely on anybody, like rejection to the max.
Yeah, and she's almost like hitting it in the, and I would be my own lover. It's like just she's saying it in all of the centers almost like.
Yes. That's why I say this 852 combo, they just, they're going to give you one of each side and they're all different. And I don't know what it is, but you literally just don't. And it's different than 147 because the frustration of 147 is like, it can meld together and you don't know which one it's coming from. It's like, is that 1 or 4? They kind of look similar. Is it 7? But with 2, 5, and 8, they're so distinct, and it's like you're dealing with literally 3 different fucking people. Like, which one are you gonna get that day? You don't know. And I think it might be because they're like cutting off pieces of themselves. You know how a rejection kind of is just like, no, this only one piece of me is useful. Well, then it's like, well, this only one heart piece of me is useful. Well, there's only this one head piece of me that's useful. There's only one gut piece of me that's useful. And these are 3 totally different areas. So it just looks so much more like 3 distinct people in one person. Whereas with 1, 4, and 7, it's like you can be fucking angry or you upset and pissed off about anything and just raging out about dumb shit. It doesn't matter. They can all tie together and feed off of each other. You can't really have that, I don't think, with the rejection types as much.
Yeah, it's almost like she's a meat locker or something of a person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Get from a man. Does that make sense?
It makes good. You wanted to be self-sufficient.
Yes, and I found that being too self-sufficient also was not good for the female side, because then I was always wearing the pants on all my relationships. I know, it's true.
yeah, and that's like also triple rejection, like triple control freak.
Yeah, I love the audience laughs and she's like, it's true. Like, kind of a little bit of truth teller 8 going on there too.
Also, like just the pain, I think, of being probably a female 8. It's like you're more of a man than the men that you're gonna fucking date.
And I mean, therefore, when you have to fulfill a purely female role, like as a mother, for instance, Paolo's how old?
Paolo is 10 now.
10 now. I mean, that's a female. What sort of a mother are you?
Oh, I am like an Auntie Mame kind of a mother. I think if I were to do Auntie Mame, the version, I mean, I think it would be, that's what his father told me. He said, well, Grace, I've heard you and Paulo, you had him on stage and he was dancing with you. And look at you. I showed him a picture with an outfit from Gaultier that I wore on TV, and it had my whole ass was exposed, And he said, this is the mother of my child. And he was outraged, but then he had a grin, and he thought, well, it actually did look good, and as an artist point of view. And he said, no, you really, I guess you're the Auntie Mame. You're the modern day Auntie Mame,
And so
I don't know who Auntie Mame is, but
I know, I need to look it up.
it's kind of interesting. But it also like feeds the kind of like appendage thing about I think that twos can have with their kids, where it's like, because the thing is too, it's like it doesn't mean that they're like a good parent. It's like you're an extension of them, and I think too, especially if she's like a sexual dom with like a 5 head and stuff, it's like she's not like necessarily knowing it. She doesn't have like the 6-9 kind of influence of nurturance or whatever per se, like that additional.
No.
I'm sure her kids / have weird fucking stories.
Oh, for sure.
Did you
Yeah,
look
it's
at Mame?
yeah, it's a progressive, independent woman of the 1920s, left to care for her nephew. Yeah, this is 2 shit. After his wealthy father dies, it's just like, oh, here comes the 2 to swoop in to raise the kid, It's like a 2 story.
And also that she's bringing him around everywhere too, instead of just leaving him somewhere, like to be cared
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, that's super 2-ish. Like, yeah, I gotta bring all my dependents with me. Everybody has to know that I take care of them. Yeah, there really is no question. The only thing I would double check for myself is just making sure that it's self-sexual, but there's just so much evidence that it's sexual dominant. And then I might think about 7 wing 8, but I don't get any 7 stuff on its own. It's always connected to just this 8 guttural physical thing of like power. So it's like, yeah, I think it's right. I think she really is an 8-2-5, which is fucking weird.
Yeah, Grace Jones, what a compelling person. Holy shit.
Yeah, that taught me a lot, even just listening to the way that she says things and comparing her to so many other 8s that I've looked at. That's a very different. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, she is kind of similar to the 852 that I know in that order, but the 852 I know is 8 with a 9, 5 with a 6, and 2 with a 3. So it's triple. There's at least something connecting this 852 I know to kind of the attachment world and self-social too. But I do see just kind of what I talked about earlier, just like that 3 people in one person is fucking weird.
Grace Jones, the sexy meat locker.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Rob. Damn, you like dropped so many like little just insightful gold nuggets. This was just so good. So yes,
That's
check
fun.
out Attitudinal Psyche, linked below if YouTube will let me. Check out Rob if you're interested, and maybe you'll see a little bit more of Rob soon.
Yes.
And gentlemen, here's Grace. Slave to the rhythm, to the rhythm.